The XCOM headquarters, nicknamed the Ant Farm, is the nucleus of the XCOM project. It's home to some of the brightest scientific and military minds on the planet and has some of the most advanced R&D facilities to boot. The location of this base is naturally a closely guarded secret, only being known to a few high-ranking council members outside of XCOM proper. But nothing can stay secret forever. So where is our mystery base exactly? Well, officially there's no concrete answer. It's a player-made choice, and none of these choices has ever been stated to be canonical as far as I'm aware. But let's do a fun little thought experiment today. Let's say if we took all of our different choices and looked at every piece of evidence to see if we could nail down which one of them would be the location of our base. So where do we start? When you boot up a campaign of Enemy Unknown, you're presented with the choice of 5 continents: North America, South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. However, if you play with the optional tutorial on, Africa, Asia, and South America are disabled. So if we can prove that this tutorial is canon, then we can mark those options off of our list. There's an important difference between the tutorial starting mission and the non-tutorial starting mission that can give us a clue to the canonicity of the tutorial. Basically, with the tutorial on, your starting mission is this heavily scripted, super story-heavy mission named Operation Devil's Moon that basically just teaches you the core mechanics of the game. Alternatively, without the tutorial, you just play through a run-of-the-mill abduction mission with a few unique lines of dialogue to signify that this is the first encounter with the aliens. The main difference that I want to focus on, though, is the appearance of an alien that only pops up in Operation Devil's Moon. As you can see in this cutscene, there's a sectoid commander who's mind-controlling a German soldier from the shadows. The sectoid commander forces this soldier to suicide bomb and runs off before the actual fighting begins, but he's there. Later in the game, when you raid the alien command center, the alien that's running the show around the base is a sectoid commander. This is the first sectoid commander you'll encounter, sans the one in the cutscene if you had the tutorial enabled. When this creature is brought back to the ant farm, either unconscious or in a body bag, Vala remarks that she believes this might be the same creature encountered during Operation Devil's Moon. Whether she's right or not is inconsequential, but what does matter is the fact that this line plays whether or not the tutorial is enabled. Since Valen always brings up the fact that there was a sectoid commander on first contact with the aliens, I think it's safe to say, at least from a story standpoint, that the tutorial on Operation Devil's Moon is canon. That leaves us with just Europe and North America for potential continents that the ant farm could be on. Now this next step is going to be a little bit more tricky. We're going to have to use UFOs and satellites to figure it out. On the off chance that somehow you're watching this video and you've never played Enemy Unknown before, you launch your satellites over Council nations to scan for UFOs. Alright, since we're still working under the assumption that the tutorial is turned on, at the point in the game where you shoot down your first UFO, you should only have 2 satellites. Your first satellite is the one you start with. It'll be monitoring either the US if you pick the North American start, or Germany if you pick the European start. The second satellite is a gift from the Council, and you can put this satellite wherever you fancy. When you shoot down your first UFO, a cutscene plays where Mission Control tries to get a better look at the crash site. If you look at the screen during this cutscene, you can see the coordinates of where the UFO landed. This is actually an Easter egg. Those coordinates correspond to the 2K offices in California. However, this also proves to us that the UFO was shot down in the USA, and by extension, the USA must have had a satellite over it. Like I said, the North American start put your first satellite over the US, so in the case of a European start, the satellite over the US would have had to have been the Council satellite. If we can prove which satellite was monitoring the US, we can, by extension, prove which continent the ant farm is on. Take a look at this line of dialogue from Bradford.
Looks like that satellite we launched paid off. We're picking up an unidentified fast mover. If we scramble an interceptor now, we may be able to take it down.
Him saying that launching the Council satellite paid off seems to imply the Council satellite was the one to detect the UFO, right? Even more so, when he commands someone to use one of their satellites to look at the crash site, look at what he refers to the satellite as.
Alright people, retask Recon Satellite Bravo and get me a visual on that crash site.
Recon Satellite Bravo, implying it's the second in XCOM's fleet. It seems as if the Council satellite was the one to pick up the UFO, which would mean that it was the satellite present over the United States, and by extension, mean that the North American start is impossible. That leaves us with Europe as our final continent. Now we could stop here and call it a day, but let's go a bit further and see if we can find out just where in Europe exactly. Luckily, since we already have our starting continent locked down, this isn't hard at all. It's actually marked on the hologlobe for us, and if you're skeptical about this, consider that the Sky Ranger leaves and comes back to this location after every mission. From the looks of it, it appears to be in northern Poland, right on the border with Lithuania, but this doesn't make much sense considering that neither of these countries are council members, so let me offer you an alternative. In between Poland and Lithuania is a small strip of land called Kaliningrad that actually belongs to the Russians. Not only is Russia an important council member, but Kaliningrad is also an already highly militarized area. It also serves as a good compromise between the Western powers of Europe and Russia to the east. Now, with all that in mind, I think it's pretty safe to say that the ant farm is probably located somewhere within the Kaliningrad Oblast of the Russian Federation. Thanks for suffering through my shitty-ass video until the very end. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, smash that motherfucking like button. And if you want to see more of it in the future, then throw me a sub. I got some more stuff in the works if I can, ever get off my lazy ass and actually produce content. Anyways, thanks again, and have a great day.